All right. Well, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, with you. My name is Ted Kaplan. I'm a pediatrician in Orlando, Florida, and I've been working as a volunteer in Haiti since 2007. And what I'm going to do today is just give a little background on how we got from that point to where we are now. With the theme of collaboration and networking. And I certainly appreciated and enjoyed all the words I was just hearing from the previous presenters. You know, it's a lot of the same concepts, except in our case, it was starting in a certain region of Haiti rather than all around the world, and not limited just to the maternal neonatal issues that were specialized by that group, but the underlying themes are very similar, and the concepts and directions they went completely appreciated by what we've done. So I started in 2007 coming to Haiti with my wife, who was born there, to initially do medical missions with a particular organization that has been working in Haiti. So we got our start doing medical missions, and we, as many people here did, became very engaged in what the problems of Haiti were and trying to figure out how we could help. And so our next stop after doing that a couple times was to try to see what else was in the country, because it didn't seem like we could get too many answers from the local groups we were working with about that. And so we went all around Haiti and volunteered with different organizations doing medical missions there, and trying to help those organizations and figure out how we could help and how people could help. We also started doing that pretty much right from the beginning in our community here in Central Florida. We discovered that there were not only a lot of people that wanted to help, but there were a lot of organizations, as you have in Kansas City. In the Central Florida community, there were many organizations, churches, and so forth that had were helping in Haiti, and some of them have been working there for many, many years. So we had kind of a parallel search in our local community as we were having in Haiti, and both had their challenges to try to find and discover who's doing what. And that's really a big part of trying to network, is discover. I think it might have slowed down a little bit in the last couple of years. But for my first many years of doing this, almost every day we would discover somebody doing something that was very pertinent, and we had never heard of it before, and many others had or had not heard of it. So, I put in the notes there. There were various types of, our goal was to discover people and try to engage them in working with each other. And by 2008, we came into Cap Haitian, where we noticed that we had meetings with some of the largest organizations working in that area, and they once again didn't really know about each other or what each other was doing. So after that trip to Cap Haitian, we decided this is what we wanted, and how we thought best help Haiti was to try to bring these actors together and find ways to help them with what we were learning all around Haiti and the United States. And there were various kinds of groups we would come into. Many of them were very eager to get help and felt very isolated, didn't know how they could accomplish a lot of things. Then there was, we would run into people that seemed to be purposely isolated for, various reasons, sometimes not great and sometimes not, just circumstances. But they, sometimes, in many cases, as we're still having today, people were isolated for their perceived benefits as far as security. And, there were many cautious people that, you would have to do two things whenever you would try to find people to bring into our health network. Was one, show that you were really going to continue to be there. And this is also a thing that you will find from the community members. They're a little bit skeptical about you until they see you coming back and actually doing things. And then, they also wanted to make sure that, there was nothing adverse going to come to them from participating. So you had, with time, people become more open about that. But, in Haiti, the cautiousness, for many good reasons, continues. We would also have a lot of people that would be coming new to Haiti, and we became a place where people would be referred to us to give them advice on how to get started, how to start an organization, which we were involved in the initiation of many of them and continued to work with them. And of course, that multiplied exponentially with the disasters, especially the 2010 earthquake. We did have people that we would work with that, they were looking for, basically looking for only to receive help. And in some cases, they're business entities. Sometimes they're charitable organizations, not necessarily thinking about the two-way street that was brought up by Jim and is so important. But we have always been very open to bring in whoever wants to participate and have them participate in whatever way they feel comfortable. Another big aspect of this, which we tried to get into as early as we could, there were many people that would, especially in the people that were trying to be isolated, that would really be trying to avoid the government. In many cases, they had a fear that the government was automatically somehow nefarious to what they were trying to do, or they were afraid that they weren't doing everything that they were the way they were supposed to do as far as the government is concerned. So there are a lot of people avoiding them, but we believe it really is. We first of all believe that it's the only legal way to operate in a country is to be working with the government. And we found, especially where we started in the north, that we only had positive experiences and positive impressions and positive observations of the staff under Dr. Jasmine in the north. And we've found it to be one of our roles as a connector and a network was to try to help explain and educate people about what the government, in particular in MSPP and health, is doing, and how it's very important and always helpful, really. And then the last group that we try to bring into the organization and continues to always be a big challenge and to the detriment really of trying to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, is to get the large international organizations involved. We had a lot of more interaction and success with that after the earthquake, and I think it happened again after last year's earthquake, that there was a little bit more interaction. But generally, for whatever reasons, people will want to ascribe to it, but they don't really, they're not easily open or want to participate in these kinds of things unless it's between each other. But of course, they do a lot of important work and have a lot of resources, and it is very important that we continue to try to bring them into the fold. So doing this, we started with a handful, the first meeting with, I believe, 13 people, including 5 of my own family in Cap-Haïtien, to grow our Cap-Haïtien health network. And we use that term because that was the center of what we were doing, but we were always going throughout the North Department and quite a bit in the Northeast and as much as we could in the Northwest, and trying to make it a regional network. When we had the earthquake in 2010, we had so many more things to do and people coming in. We were able to, advance everything a lot faster and bring more people in. But at each step of the way, as after we started our network, we tried to find opportunities, and in many cases we saw there were projects that needed to be done to help people that it seemed like it would be feasible for us to try to do. So we did do that, and that also helped to put a little bit of meat on the bones of our network. The first thing that we did was a project to have several small organizations who couldn't afford their own doctor or even find one to work with a doctor that we knew that was part-time employed by one of the organizations. And with that project, we got this doctor fully employed, and several other clinics opened and available for medical care that otherwise weren't. And, this doctor has become a very big part of the medical community. It has now opened his own hospital, and we're so glad to support him in the process of this first project. We continue to be a connector and information source, and as I mentioned before, coordinating of volunteers and contributors and so forth during the time of and after the earthquake became a huge, frankly, overwhelming project. But I think we're getting, all of us are getting better as with unfortunate lots of experience on how to do this. But that was really crazy, for want of another word, of what was happening and who was coming in 2010. And one of the things that did come from that is we did find additional organizations that were, especially at that time, and many of them continue to be willing to donate materials for medical care, medications, and so forth to Haiti. And we worked on working with those organizations, and really our goal and mission, and why they always wanted to work with us, was to try to get these resources into places that otherwise didn't know about them and weren't part of any other kinds of networks, or didn't know what was weren't going to get them otherwise. And we built up a large network of distribution, which we still do more or less these days, working with organizations like Direct Relief, AmeriCares, Vitamin Angels, and others. Of course, very important to our growth and to our mission was having meetings, and we did do that every 3 months or so for many years, usually in Cap-Haïtien, a few times a little bit farther out. And these were, we always saw there was a great hunger, both from foreign and Haitian staff, to be getting to know each other and know about each other's programs and hear about what other programs were doing and things that they could be part of. And so those meetings were, difficult to have these days, the last 3 or 4 years, but they really were very important, and we hope to see the time when they can happen again. Very important for networking, obviously, and everybody, it provides a boost to everybody's motivation and energy level to have those kinds of things. Also, at the same time, I think it was kind of early in the availability of this kind of thing, but we went through the various online platform possibilities, starting with a Yahoo group, and eventually we have our Facebook group and websites, of course. And even before it was difficult to, as it is now, to operate on the ground, we, always thought it was very important to have those, there to, for efficiency, to also allow people that aren't on the ground to participate and keep up to date with what's happening. And, we still believe very strongly in that, in the power of those online platforms, including what we're doing today with Zoom. It was in 2010 where my wife went and spent a lot of time in Haiti that year as a volunteer with my son, who's now 13. He was an infant at that time, and usually carrying him around and so forth. But we did come up with the goal, and we were able to start hiring Haitian staff, some of which are still with us to this day, and always were so important in every aspect to success and being able to do things in the most effective way, and growing our reach and doing the programs and projects that we're trying to do. Of course, I think everybody on this conference has gone through that. Really, we are, one of our goals, I should say from the beginning, we weren't trying to be an organization. We weren't trying to be, and have not, as the Cap Haitian Health Network, tried to raise money. We have sometimes people want to give us money, but which we try to immediately distribute into something. But our goal is, we felt there was a lot of challenge of people trying to gather resources, and our job was to, with as little cost as possible, assist those that are doing things. So it wasn't our goal to have a huge budget or anything like that, and we were able to accomplish many things with just a little bit of, you could call, seed money to keep it going. Through our I want to mention, through our programs that we were able to develop, I'm proud and very satisfied or happy to see some of these programs that have made a huge impact. Some of them still, have a lot of potential that we hope someday will be tapped. But a couple I would like to mention was, as we helped to bring in a vasectomy service to Haiti, which now is mostly, being done by a Haitian physician, but also continues with volunteers that come in. And that question was asked in the last presentation about birth control, and that's an often less highlighted or used method of birth control, which the more poor the area is, usually the less likely that's going to be available. And thanks to this program, it's available for free and has been going on for probably at least 11 years or so now. Another one was mental health services, something which is also one of the weakest. It's still one of the most challenging things, and the more natural disasters and other difficulties in Haiti, the more stress on mental health, and so little resources. And we were able to bring in, find people that were trying to do this in a little area, and able to spread this out throughout the greater north. So couple last things to talk about, and Barbara is going to go into this a lot more, but we were so fortunate and blessed, and really within our exactly what we were trying to do, and had tried in various ways before, but didn't seem like it was going to be feasible with our resources, was to try to expand our scope to enable this type of network to function throughout the country, where we know it was just as much needed as it was in the north. And so 2018, I heard from Barbara, and then we've been working together and turning this regional network into a national network as quickly as we can. She, like I said, she will get into it a lot more. And with that came a lot more partnerships, and makes everything stronger. That was one of the great things that happened not too long ago. Of course, the worst things is this worsening problem with security, and we've always had to deal with as best we can as a tiny organization and not any part of law enforcement or anything like that, dealing with corruption. And we know it's rampant in Haiti, and it's very hard to avoid running into corruption problems. And we've had some that were real drastic that we had to deal with. But our mission and goal was always to accept anybody, and until, I guess you could say, proven otherwise. And there hasn't been too many cases where organization wide it was proven otherwise, but there are a few, and that's a huge challenge that all of us have to deal with. And I think that's one of the, both for corruption and for security issues, thinking about how the United States and the colonies had to live together or die separately. That's really a pretty accurate statement for us as people trying to help in Haiti and for organizations. And if a network really serves as a way for each other to have each other's backs, to have people looking at things when they're not able to be there. And, I think it's still a very important role that we have and can play. And we should continue to think about that so we can do what everybody's goal is to have a healthy and better Haiti. We need to, and I think everybody here understands that we need to work together for that to happen, especially given the small resources that Haiti is always having to work with, and with all the challenges. It's obviously the only way forward, and we look forward to continuing to do that together moving forward. So thank you all for hearing our little history, and we hope to continue to work with all of you as much as we can moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. We're going to open it up for questions. We can certainly applaud Ted. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So do we have any questions?
I do have one coming from online. Dr. Kaplan, you're working in the north, but mentioned a hospital, forgive my pronunciation, in Font-Parisien that is in the east-southeast. What is your affiliation there?
My affiliation is that me and the other Dr. Ted have the same first name. But, otherwise, Dr. Ted and his hospital, Dr. Higgins, is part of the Haiti Health Network. So that was, we did have a little bit of a connection through one of our volunteers who was in the vasectomy program and other surgical programs, did come visit his facility. We always would have those little forays into other parts of the country before we grew into the Haiti Health Network.
And this is Pat Wolf from Meds and Food for Kids. We're in the north, along with the Cap-Haitian Health Network. And I have to say that Ted is too humble about the outcomes. When he came to the north and decided that he was going to connect people and organize people, made a huge difference to everyone who was doing their own separate thing and had no time or energy or phone contact or security to go from place to place and meet everyone. And I do look forward, Ted, to the time when we can all physically meet again, because I think that it made everyone better. it enhanced everyone's programs, and I thank you on behalf of all of us who continue to work in the North.
Thanks a lot, Pat. You've always been one of our great supporters. We have a lot
Any
of
other-
appreciation for the people that joined us from the beginning, and I think everybody, as you mentioned, is happy that they did.
Thank you, Ted. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to pause for about a 10-minute break, and then we'll gather back in for the next two presentations. Thank you.